Hello everybody and welcome to today's webinar. I do hope that you're all keeping well. So my name's Haylie. I'm going to be taking you through this webinar, setting homework for the summer holidays. Now, we know that as teachers you are incredibly busy at the moment and your workload has probably trebled in the past couple of months. But what we wanted to do was just give you a couple of ideas of how EducationCity can help you and sort of reduce that workload a little bit, hopefully. So what I wanted to share with you today was the My Cities. Obviously, you probably use the My Cities already in terms of creating those homework pieces. But the videos that we've got available that can be used for sort of that independent learning, as well as the learn screens and the activity sheets that can also be sent home as well. And then I wanted to tell you about Pick and Play. You may not have heard about Pick and Play yet, but obviously it's all part of that independent learning that students can do at home in their own time, and try and reduce some of the workload from you. Now, just before we get started, I do need to point out that the account I'm going to be using is a made-up school. So please don't worry about any names that you might see. They are all completely fake. It is also an English school, but I will point out if there's any differences for outside of England. So if you're watching from Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, or anywhere else, I'll point out those differences. Finally, if we're watching and you think, I really want to know about this, hold on to your questions. As always, at the very end, I will give you my email address and you can send those over to me. Right, I think that's everything. So head into EducationCity and we can get started. There we go. And here we are. Now, as always, I am using the new homepage. You can still use the old one, follow along like that. But you can click on the ribbon just there and it will bring you to this page if you need to. So, starting off with My Cities. Again, you've probably used these before. But one thing that I wanted to sort of point out to you is that when you're sort of setting the My City, particularly for something like the summer holidays, it's not always relevant to sequence it. So for example, you could put a load of multiplication tools into a folder and leave it open for the students to do. And then they can just dip in and out of it as and when they need to. Same with things like sort of punctuation and grammar or spellings, or even like put together a few science investigations for them to look at whilst they're at home. So I'm going to start with new homework. Let's call this summer. There we go, summer learning. Bit of a suggestion there. That's quite a nice one, isn't it? And just create that folder. Now, obviously, you've got the different ways of creating your folders as well, whether you're using the search content function, the curriculum map, or the subjects area. I'm just going to click add content just here. And I'm going to search for multiplication. There we go. And we can search that there. Now, the great thing is just here, because you have got your level selectors, you can obviously select for key stages as well, or sort of your P stages if you need to. The great thing about that is that you can obviously look, if you're in year 3, you can look at year 4 things. If you're in year 4, you can look at year 5 if you want to. But I want to show you our videos. If you haven't already had a look at our maths videos, they're amazing. You have to. They're brilliant. You can see we've got the maths videos there. Everything from the 2 times table right up to the 12 times table. Kids love them. Particularly the 8 times table one. If you haven't already watched the 8 times table video, put a little time aside when you can and watch it. It will get stuck in your head for months. It's brilliant. Some of the younger ones come with like dancing, like sort of dance routines that they can dance and sing along with, but all of them brilliant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 12 times table, the 7 times table, and the 8 times table into that folder. So these are the ones that I'm just going to pop in there to work on. Now, don't forget, with all of our multiplication videos comes our activities. Now, if I just click done there, I'm just going to save that and head into the subjects area. because this is where you'll see all of the activities that we've got that come with those videos. Here they are in the times table bundle in lower key stage 2 maths. And you can see we've got all of the videos here, and you have your multiplication challenge activity, your division challenge activity, and then your multiplication and division challenge activity. Being an activity, it gets marked for you, so always a benefit. But this one also encourages the inverse operations as well. So again, we can go through and we can pop in, let's find the 7 times table one. Let's pop in, there we go. We've got the activity just there we can pop in, but we could also pop in an activity sheet. Why, you might ask? Well, the great thing is that the activity sheets, obviously students can view those at home. They may not be able to print them. However, what they can do, let me just pop these into that folder. Where's it gone? There it is, summer learning. There we are. What you can do is open it up, and they can write those number sentences out on paper or in a book if they've got a book at home. So they can still do the activity sheets. They can still take part in that learning if they need to. And then obviously you've got sort of your division just there and your multiplication. They can use the inverse measures to check their answers. So don't rule out the activity sheets just because children might not have the printers at home. They are still really beneficial. And obviously you can pop in all of the multiplication and division activity sheets as well as the activities themselves. They do come with different questions, so there's no harm in allowing the children to do both. So let's head back to that folder. I'm going to head down the side column here to our My City, and obviously into our homework where we had that folder. Here it is, just here, our summer learning folder. And you can see now I've got a couple of things in there. What you might want to do is move things around a little bit. So let's put the 12 times table at the end. Might want to put sort of the challenges or the activities you see after the videos just there. And obviously you can pop as many things into this folder as you need to. Now, making sure that I save, you've obviously got the little icon there that you can change. You can make that quite summery if you need to. I like that, that's quite cute. And obviously always writing a message. So maybe something like practice your times tables. And don't forget about our multiplication tables check that you could also pop in there. Let the children have a quick practice at their multiplication tables as well. There we go. So pop those in there, and you can always sort of start adding more things in if you need to. Let's find that multiplication table to check. There we go. Tables, and hopefully that will pop up. Here we go. Now don't forget that it is actually an activity. Where is it? Oh dear, can't find it. There it is, just there. And the great thing is as well, we've got all these other activities that you can use, loads of them there. Look, still going. And the multiplication tables check comes in the 6-second one as per government standard, as well as a 10-second and a 20-second one. So you can always sort of add the 20-second one in, enable the children to build up their confidence before they move on to the 10-second one. There we go. Now, here's what I was talking about in terms of the sequencing. You don't need to lock it in an order. You can keep it open, let the children dip in and out of it as they need to. Obviously, assigning to students just there, making sure that you've got your groups or your classes. You can assign to both if you want to. Make sure I save. Now, in the preferences section, one thing I will tell you about is down at the bottom just here. We do have the quick finish function on the activities. You can turn that off if you want to, so that the children do have to complete the activity before finishing. The other thing I like to do is leave the again on, because that means they can keep having a go. They can keep building up their scores, building up their confidence on the same activity. So always worthwhile remembering that. one just there. There we go. And obviously publishing to students just there. So I'm just going to save that as it is. So that's what my sit is, leaving it open for the children to dip in and out of as they need to. And then those supporting tools, particularly the videos, are going to be really beneficial for students for independent learning, particularly the younger years, I think, as well as the learn screens actually as well. You could pop a couple of those in. And then don't forget about the activities. They get marked for you. And the activity sheets, send them home, let the children look at them, and they can write the number sentences out themselves. So don't forget about that. Now, the last thing I mentioned was our pick and play. You may not have heard of this before, but to show you this, I'm going to have to log out. There we go, and log back in as one of my students. Here we are. This is a student account. When they log in, this is what they will see. So they'll have their classwork just here, their homework, there's that summer learning folder just there, and they'll also have their revision from any assessments. Here is their pick and play. They have access to all the subjects like you do. So maybe they've completed the 12 times table video. What they can then do is head straight into maths, into their year group, and there's that times tables bundle. They can practice themselves. They can do that independent learning, and they can secure their knowledge with a multiplication check if they want to as well. So they have access to this too. You could pop a couple of things in and then tell them to access their pick and play, carry on with their learning, whether it be in maths, English or science, or even some online safety resources there as well. Don't forget about that. It's really, really useful tool. Make sure your parents know about it as well, because we don't want the children skiving off throughout the summer. They can access the subjects area and work on the areas that they find difficult as well. So building up their confidence as well as filling up some of those key skills gaps. And that is just about everything for today. I really hope that has been useful to you. We're going to have some more webinars coming up in the new academic year. Let us know if there's one that you want to see, any questions that you might have for us as well. We really would love to hear from you. I hope that all of our webinars have been useful. You can find them all recorded on our YouTube page and also on our video user guide. So watch them in your own time if you need to. Send them to colleagues, do whatever you will with them, but please let us know what you think of them. We really do love to hear from you. You've got our email address just there so you can get in touch, and hopefully I will hear from you soon. Until next time, have a great summer, chill a bit, relax, and take care. Bye-bye.